Welcome back to the Red Slayer Rides. I'm your host Connor, and in today's video, I'll be reviewing Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa, the new for 2022 RMC hybrid coaster. This was supposed to be one of the many 2020 coasters for the SeaWorld entertainment chain like Pantheon and Icebreaker, but this one was delayed, like most of those, to 2022. This is by far probably the best of all of those. I've had the fortunate opportunity to ride Pantheon, this, and Icebreaker, and this is definitely the best out of those three for me. I don't know what Emperor's like or what Texas Stingray is like, but I have a friend who's been on Texas Stingray. He said it was fine, but he's also been on this, and he said it's nowhere near as good as this thing. Iron Gwazi is an absolute beast of a roller coaster. This is the conversion of the two dueling Gwazi coasters that used to exist in the same spot. Gwazi was an old wooden coaster. Actually, there were two, Lion and Tiger, and they raced each other. This is one coaster, so when you're actually on the brake run to the ride, you can see some of the Gwazi signs and stuff on the final brake run in that kind of shed area, which is pretty cool. Anyways, about Gwazi, Gwazi, again, it was a dueling coaster, but now it is one singular, really, really long hybrid coaster that doesn't feel that long, but it also doesn't feel short. Iron Gwazi is 4,075 feet long, 206 feet tall, 76 miles per hour, has two inversions, which is a zero-G stall and what I call the death roll, and most people call the death roll as well, which you'll see in just a second. It has a 91-degree drop, and it has 12 airtime moments. Iron Gwazi is a very fast-paced coaster, as you'll see in the POV that I'm about to show, and this coaster absolutely tears through its layout. But without further ado, let's get into said layout of Iron Gwazi. Your ride experience on Iron Gwazi starts with a left-hand turn out of the station before hitting a little bit of straight track, before then doing a little dip and turn to the left, which you gain a lot of speed off of from nowhere, basically. I don't know why you gain that much speed. And then you hit the very, very steep lift hill. That is actually pretty fast until, with the wonderful magic of editing power, you're at the top and it's all of a sudden not very fast anymore. It drastically slows down at the top, which no, I'm not a fan of. But then you dive down the 206 91-degree drop, banking slightly to the right and then back to the left up into this massive Outer Bank top hat, going back down to the left, zooming right back up to the right into the famous death roll, where you're spiraling down and turning to the left before a giant left-hand overbank, turning a little bit more to the left into the massive wave turn over the entrance, going up, pop to the left, wave turn, up into a zero-G stall before falling back down slightly, going to the right into a little pop again, going more to the right into another little pop and another little pop before helixing down right into one final drop into a left-hand turn into the brakes. And that is Iron Gwazi. First of all, thank you to Coaster Force for the POV that was previously displayed. And second of all, this is a really fast coaster. As I've mentioned before, this thing absolutely tears through its layout. It is not even funny at this point. It is absolutely just going ham, going through the layout. It is going so fast the whole time, it gives me Fury 325 vibes, which is possibly why I like this coaster a lot. Because, I really like Fury. I don't know. It's in my intro. It's at the end of the intro. I don't know. I like Fury. I also really like this one. This was my 158th coaster that I've been on, which as of this video is being created As of this video being created, this is my newest credit. It's about to not be, but that's fine. This is also my fourth RMC that I've been on, and I would say it's the best RMC if there was not another RMC in Tennessee that had better airtime. But I digress. This is still a fantastic ride, and we're going to go ahead and start with presentation. The presentation on this coaster is beautiful. It looks really nice. It has a menacing presence, and it is overall just, it's menacing to look at. You can see it from everywhere. It's like Falcon's Fury all over again. You can see it from everywhere. You can hear the screams of people on it from everywhere, and this park is huge. So that's impressive. Good job, Busch Gardens. This is a masterclass of coasters and does not deserve to get any hate whatsoever. However, there is one critical thing that I have a problem with this coaster, and that is the fact that this coaster runs so bad in the morning. I rode this thing first thing in the morning in the back row, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, it wasn't a top 25 coaster because it was running so stupidly slow. I don't know what this ride has a problem with in the morning, but it runs insanely slow. So I recommend if you're going to ride it in the morning because you want to get it out of the way, go back to it later in the day because you will regret it forever if you don't, because this coaster, quite honestly, is mid in the morning. However, you give it about an hour to warm up, it's hauling after about 45 minutes to an hour. You just got to give it a little bit of time, and then this thing is going to start tearing through the course like there's no tomorrow. This coaster, there's very, very little that I have a problem with. That was one of them. The other one was the fact that it stops at the top of the lift hill. It doesn't stop, but it significantly slows down at the top of the lift hill. I don't know why they put this in. If it was for suspense, you didn't really need to do that because, it's already intimidating enough going up the lift hill itself. You don't need to have a little fake out moment at the top. It's unneeded. But if it's to make people in the front row kind of hang over, you have Sheikra right there. So I don't exactly know why they did this. However, I don't like it because when you're in the back row, you don't get as much whip over the drop, and it's kind of annoying, which that's one of the many factors I actually prefer this coaster in the front rows. I actually never got a front row ride on Iron Gwazi. I got two second row rides, a third row ride, and then two back row rides. So I rode it 5 times. I got some rides on this thing. And, it's good in the back. It's really good in the back. I just prefer it in the front because I think the airtime hits a little bit harder in the front. However, I will say the first drop still hits harder in the back, and the death roll hits harder in the back. But other than that, I think everything else hits slightly harder in the front. The top hat is about the same anywhere on the train. The absolute nuts go crazy outer bank is the same in every seat. It's queasy. And this whole coaster is just insane. It was completely surreal when you're on it, and you're just getting thrashed around like a rag doll, kind of like what Intimidator 305 does and Maverick does. So this is the most intimate RMC, other than Lightning Rod. But this coaster, overall, is an absolute piece of art by RMC. This is an incredible ride. The airtime all is fantastic. Doesn't really matter what row you sit in. The airtime is so good, and it's not even funny at this point. It's incredible. This coaster had a lot of hype around it because it was standing but not operating for 2 years. It was fully constructed by 2020, and nothing happened about it. It just kind of sat there. It was waiting for its time to shine, and its time to shine was 2022. And let me say, with how insane the 2022 theme park season was, this was a great thing that came along with it. So without further ado, Iron Gwazi gets a 10 out of 10. And if I could go higher, I would give it higher. This is a nearly flawless coaster. Just don't ride it in the morning. It's not it Ride it later in the day if you do ride it in the morning. If you don't ride it in the morning, just hey, let me say sunset rides on this thing are also pretty good. I was not able to get a night ride cuz, Halloween event was going on and they wouldn't let you stay in the park unless you bought another ticket, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, I got sunset ride. That was fast though. That was a second row sunset ride. Incredible. This coaster, just wow. I can't really say much more than what others have already said, so I'm going to leave it at that. Post your comments down in the comment section below and tell me, is this your favorite coaster that you've ever been on? Because I'm not sure if it's mine or not. I know I said Lightning Rod is, slightly, I might prefer that slightly more, but I don't know. This thing's pretty good. It could hypnotize me or something. I don't know. I'll see y'all in the next video. Adios.